Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Kurzgesagt reaction. And, man, it's been a little while since I did, a reaction to one of their videos, but here we are once again, and, okay, I know Kurzgesagt and a couple of other channels have the habit of, like, changing video titles and thumbnails, like, a few days after the video goes public, to try to get, better views and stuff like that. But I'm fairly certain the title for this video wasn't, "What if it rains bananas for a single day? Spoiler, it's bad." Yeah, I'm fairly certain it wasn't called that originally. And honestly, at this point, I'm struggling to try to remember what the video was actually called in the first place. And, yeah, excuse my, my eye. It's allergies. Ugh. But yeah, what if it rains bananas? Well, I mean, thinking about it, given my my limited knowledge of the world, I'm under the the assumption that your average banana is a lot heavier than a raindrop. So even if a banana is rather squishy, I mean that is if it's ripe, having it rain bananas, especially for an entire day, that I would imagine that would probably cause some damage, and would leave quite the mess afterwards. Also, thinking about it, I only just realized that even counting the, the squash factor of the banana being squashed when it hits the ground, partially, unlike water, which would drain away, the bananas wouldn't, so they would actually start to build up very quickly. Okay, yeah, I can see where the "it's bad" portion of the title comes from. So, I mean, knowing that, I mean, just thinking about that, I mean, I can potentially see this video being very goofy. So, I mean, let's get this thing started then. So, yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day. And if you like this video or any other video that I make, I'd very much appreciate it if you gave the video a like and subscribe to my channel, because my main goal for this year is to hopefully hit 5,000 subscribers. And I mean, at the rate I'm going, that's totally doable, thanks to, every one of you who thinks that my channel is worth subscribing to. But yeah, with all out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
Today, we're answering the stupidest, okay, wait, the best and most amazing questions from you, our viewers. At Kurzgesagt, we're experts when it comes to tackling stupid.
So wait, does that mean that they're going to be covering more than just the bananas thing? It's going to be like a compilation? Or are they going to be making a series of videos like this?
Questions, and on top of our own, we get hundreds from you on an almost daily basis. So let's very seriously and scientifically answer some of them. Question 1. How many jellyfish do you need to power Tokyo? Tokyo is a hungry beast, gobbling up around 280 terawatt hours of electricity every year.
Jellyfish? I mean, I know jellyfish sting. Are there types of jellyfish that produce an electric field like electric eels do? Or, like, are they talking about, just having jellyfish moving in water and that generates power somehow? Or do you mean, like, harvesting jellyfish and, like, decomposing them or breaking them down somehow to create power? Like, what are you talking about?
That's more energy than these 20 countries combined, and more than all of Australia. Can we power Tokyo with our innovative renewable energy source? Some jelly species like Aquaria victoria or crystal jelly contain fluorescent proteins and glow in the dark. If you put one of them in front of a tiny solar panel, you'd end up with something like a microwatt hour of energy. To meet Tokyo's outrageous energy demands, you'd need a quintillion, 300 quadrillion glowing jellies.
That's a lot of zeros.
That's too many. Can we use bigger ones? How about Nemopilema nomuri, the Nomura jellyfish? Really chunky boys, weighing about as much as a piano and growing up to 2 meters wide. They're armed with around 1,000 spindly tentacles that grow up to 4 meters long and help them suck up plankton from the water. In recent years, their numbers have been exploding, wreaking havoc on local ecosystems. Using these fridge-sized jellies to power Tokyo will finally give them something more useful to do.
So, again, how? Like, are you gonna, like, put a bunch of them in a pool and then have their movements, like, generate power through the water via, like, a wave generator? Or, again, are you gonna, like, break them down into mush and use them as fuel for, like, a bioreactor or something?
They don't glow in the dark, but jellyfish are kind of electric, aren't they? Unfortunately, no. If you've ever been stung by a jellyfish, you know it feels like a painful electric jolt.
But
the pain
not
actually comes from hundreds of nematocysts inside their tentacles,
Yeah,
tiny
just what I
dark
thought,
guns
yeah.
filled with venom. So how do we get energy from jellyfish? We'll squeeze it out of them with the power of piezoelectricity. Piezoelectricity is an electric charge that builds up in certain solid materials like crystals or bone when you stress and squeeze them. For example, a quartz crystal is made up of positive and negatively charged atoms arranged in repeating pyramid shapes. Their charges usually cancel each other out. But if you apply enough pressure, atoms shift out of place and the pyramids become kind of wonky. Positively charged on one side and negatively charged on the other, like a battery. Together, they add up to a charge across the whole crystal. Piezoelectricity powers sonar, times quartz watches, and some nightclubs use it to keep the lights on just from the stamping of dancers' feet.
Yeah, I've heard of that before, and I think, granted, I don't think it would really work that well, but I think I remember hearing somewhere that either in a city or in like an airport or something, they were thinking of installing them because, you have a lot of people constantly walking, so that's a lot of, even if, each individual, tile itself doesn't produce that much electricity from a single, step, you have hundreds, if not thousands of people walking on it an hour just constantly. Actually, maybe that wouldn't really work outside just because of, the elements. But having something like that inside, especially a place with a lot of foot traffic, that would probably be really good.
So, here's the plan. We'll create a ginormous battery from jellyfish by harnessing the hypnotic movements of Nomura's hundreds of long, thin tentacles. First, we squeeze our jellyfish, one tentacle at a time, into a kind of wetsuit made from nylon 1111, a cutting-edge material that's been optimized for power production and has the same piezoelectric properties as quartz.
Okay, so I'm going, no, I'm just trying to think, how would you even do that on a jellyfish? Because it's not like they have a skeleton you can squeeze them into. Like, if you wanted to, I'm pretty sure any jellyfish, even the biggest ones, you could squish into a ball, if you just literally squeezed them into, maybe a basketball-sized lump of flesh at the most. Because, again, they're basically, they're nothing but skin and water, basically. There's nothing there to give them, actual structure. How would you squeeze them into a suit that wouldn't just end up, misshaping them and possibly killing them?
Next, we watch as each twitch of a tentacle bends the tiny nylon nanofibers of the jelly suit, converting its movements into electricity. All we need to do now is to plug our jelly into a current collector with a copper cable to be utterly disappointed. Even with around 1,000 tentacles wrapped in energy-generating nylon, the electricity generated only adds up to around 1 watt or 10 kilowatt hours per year. Enough energy to run your laptop for 20 days. Not bad, but we want to power Tokyo here.
Well, I mean, you did say that, there were a lot of jellyfish, so I mean, just kind of go nuts, remove them entirely from the outside world, and just have them all in this one building generating electricity. It'd be a very big building now that I'm thinking about it.
We need more jellies, way more, about 29 billion. Sounds like a lot, and it is, but right now, there are 27 billion chickens alive on Earth, so it's mostly a matter of motivation on our part. A single Nomura can produce millions of jelly babies a month, and with enough plankton to eat, they can grow from the size of a grain of rice to the size of a person in less than a year. If we want to breed a lot of them and fast, all we need to do is basically empty the Pacific of plankton. And of course, we'll need space to store them all. Giving each Nomura a cube of space measuring 5 meters on each side sounds generous, but it barely contains the tentacles. All those jelly cubes add up to a tank that's about 7 times the total volume of Mount Fuji. With all those tentacles and cables, our biggest issue will be short circuits. We need to insulate all 29 billion cables.
I was just thinking, I mean, you say, that's, bigger than Mount Everest. But, I mean, I've seen anime. There's some anime with much weirder and bigger constructions in it. I mean, you could have this be done in an anime that was, super weird or stuff like that.
And don't forget the tentacles themselves. Now, even if the jellies get tangled up, we can maintain a steady power supply for the good people of Tokyo. In reality, of course, our jellyfish power station would be pretty difficult to maintain. Nomura
Yeah,
would
what's the
probably die
lifespan on those
constantly and
jellyfish?
need to be replaced. And the cost of building this whole mess and killing the ocean to feed them would be like spending $1 million to buy a single dollar bill. We're not saying any of this is a good idea, but now we've done the maths, there's nothing to stop you from giving it a try. Okay, bring on the next totally dumb, completely reasonable question. Question 2. What if it rained bananas instead of water for a whole day? Okay, so first we tried to calculate what would happen if for one day every single rain droplet was now a banana. Turns out, in a storm, several million raindrops can fall on a single square meter, which stacks quickly to the equivalent of a banana asteroid smashing into the planet and killing all life. While fun, this is a bit too much. Instead,
Well, I mean, it's not like they fall all at once. It starts slow and then speeds up and stays constant for a while before it decreases and stops. So it's not all at once. It's again, you'd still be crushed under the weight of the bananas eventually, but it wouldn't happen immediately.
Instead, let's take the average volume of rain that falls on our planet in a single day, about 1.33 trillion tons of water, a massive wobbly orb of water 14 kilometers across. Now, let's swap this water for bananas. Each fruit weighs about 120 grams, which will give us a daily banana fall of 11.1 quadrillion bananas, weighing 1.33 trillion tons in total. If we match average global rainfall patterns, even the Sahara Desert would receive around 15 trillion bananas. If a medium-sized banana...
Well, I mean, that's one way of ending world hunger, am I right? Oh, God. The jellyfish one, like, that... That one was weird, but this one's just goofy.
Banana has about 105 calories, 15 trillion Sahara bananas alone could already feed the world's population for over 2 months. For the world as a whole, the calories of all rain bananas add up to a grand total of 1.2 quintillion calories.
Yeah, the only problem is, bananas don't last forever. So I don't think we'd even physically be able to make a dent into that before they started going bad. And then not only is the world buried under bananas, it's buried under rotting bananas. Which, I mean, actually, that could probably be good for the soil. I mean, I've heard enough about putting, like, banana peels and stuff like that in compost, so you never know. And still, the cleanup would be an absolute disaster. A lot of banana bread afterwards, also, now that I'm thinking about it. I haven't had banana bread in a while.
With just one day of banana rain, we could go on feeding everyone on Earth for over 100 years.
If you keep the bananas fresh, which, you can't.
Of course, in reality, the banana rain would be pretty catastrophic. A banana falling from about 3,000 meters, the height of a mid-altitude rain cloud, would reach a velocity of 240 meters per second and strike the ground with the same kinetic energy you'd get from dropping a bowling ball off a 50-meter building. And we're dropping over 11 quadrillion of them across the planet. One of the rainiest and therefore worst affected cities is London. It would face a storm of 21 billion bananas, or 2.5 million tons. The shower of yellow death breaks roofs, shatters windows, and decimates national monuments. Human bones are no match for this monsoon, so we'd need to take shelter from a banana blitz inside or underground.
I mean, admittedly, it's not the first time that, London's been destroyed.
All around the world, cities and infrastructure, rivers and rainforests are severely damaged and clotted with a layer of banana smoothie that's already beginning to rot. Trillions of mashed bananas are floating in the ocean, clogging up coastlines. Picture the aftermath of all the worst oil spills and superstorms combined, but way worse and kind of everywhere. And our problems are just getting started. The rotting banana mush contains 160 billion tons of methane, 280 times our current annual emissions as a planet.
Oh god, I didn't even think of the methane as a greenhouse gas. Oh no.
Methane traps around 28 times more heat than CO2. Adding this much greenhouse gas this quickly will lead to a catastrophic and sudden spike in global temperatures. Most ecosystems won't be able to handle it and will witness a devastating mass extinction event. In short, banana rain is an apocalypse-level catastrophe. Okay, hopefully your question has been properly answered.
I mean, I know in like the Bible, God made it rain frogs in Egypt and stuff like that. I'm really glad God doesn't have a sense of humor and doesn't make it rain bananas.
It's time to wrap up for today. Please keep sending us your amazing questions, even and especially if they're stupid. We're collecting them and we'll answer more of them in the future.
Oh my God! Honestly, like again, so I know that these were questions specifically, you know, taken chosen because they were really stupid, and you know, you could get some really big funny numbers out of them. You know, the jellyfish generator building that was, you know, bigger, several times bigger than, you know, Everest by a couple of magnitudes, or you know, the banana apocalypse. It really makes me glad that our world isn't that silly. Because granted, I mean, like going to the jellyfish thing, I know there are, I know there are some, you know, really weird tech bros out there that want to solve our problems in the weirdest way possible, but I'm really glad none of them are that stupid to use jellyfish as a power generating solution. And, you know, the less said about the bananas, the better. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. So yeah, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.